Well, hello. Tad McClelland again here. Going to work on a few small projects on the next series of videos. This is especially for Tyler and Mark. They are a couple of students that are somewhat interested in leatherwork, or so I'm told. Anyway, so I made suggestions on the types of things to their teacher, of the best things to get started with, or not, maybe not the best, but the best for the money. So a leather kit, or leather sewing kit, and then stitching spacer, leather, and then a good pair of scissors, and then a rotary cutter. And actually, believe it or not, I like this rotary cutter better than the one that I bought for myself, which was about 4 times as expensive. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive to be good. All right, so I'm going to kind of go through the things that are in this kit, and describe the leather as well. So, real quick. And all these are from Amazon, and I will list them all in the comments. Yeah. So inside here we got 4 different choices of thread. They're non-waxed thread, which isn't terrible. As you guys get better at doing this, you can use a wax from a beeswax, and run the thread through it if you like, or just make sure that you buy waxed thread. It's a little bit more expensive, but it lasts longer, and it seats better. This is a thimble, which is extremely small for me, so I won't be using it. Not to mention that I've been doing it for years without it. So I've already kind of tested out some of this stuff just to make sure that it was going to be good enough to use for anybody, beginners included. This is a threading awl, so a pull thread awl. You can push with it as well. Yeah, that's what the groove is here for. And I may go through a specific class on how to use this. Typically, I don't use this very much, but for the first project that we have here, it really came in handy for doing the finished stitches, or hiding what's left over. There's a little pair of scissors. These are great for cutting your threads. I was using them for using the back end for marking my leather. There's many different uses for those, and then of course a flexible tape measure, an actual tape measure, and made from tape. An awl, AWL, and this is used for punching your holes in your leather until you get to the point to where you feel like you can invest in a punch. Punches are quite nice. They make very nice holes to stitch through. Here are my 3 smallest. It actually goes in this order. One of them is just essentially the same thing as this, just a pointed end. There's no hole in it. This one is a 0.5 millimeter, so half a millimeter of a hole, and this one's a full millimeter hole. I think my favorite is the 0.5 millimeter for doing most stitch work. But I will not be using those because you can't use them, at least until you buy them for yourself. But for this instruction video, I'm just going to use the stuff that you guys have, just so you know that it can be done. And then there's more needles here, a couple of larger ones, some smaller ones, and then the curvature needles, and they have a specific name, and I can't remember what that is right now, so I'm not going to try. And then of course there's more needles. Most of these larger ones we won't be using, or I won't be using in this demonstration, but I will use these. There's 3 of them, I believe, in the pack. There might have been, yeah, there's 3 of them in the pack. And then looks like there's 3 medium size and 3 large. So the large ones, this thread is entirely too small for it. I mean, they're easy to get a hold of, but you won't need it. This is for much larger thread, but as you start doing more and more projects, they might come in handy. So these here are a finger protector. So, and again, they're extremely small. This one is supposed to be for your thumb, and I can barely get my finger in it. So, and this one's supposed to be for your finger, and I might be able to get my pinky in it, but I'm not going to worry about it. What these are actually for is as you're pushing your awl through the leather, this awl will go through flesh. I mean, leather is flesh, so it will go through your finger. So safety first. It's up to you whether or not you wear it. To me, they're a little bit cumbersome, but again, I'm used to doing it, and of course, I still poke myself every now and again. But after you poke yourself a couple of times, you learn not to do it anymore, or at least I think so. But I got a hard head and soft fingers. Okay, so the spacer, stitching spacer, and I'll run you through how to use this after when we get to that point. But there's three different size wheels, and that it just, so this is the smallest one, and this is typically the one that I use for everything. These two are a little bit larger. I can't remember what the spacing is. I think this one's 3 millimeters. This one's 2 or 3.5, and this one's 2 or 3, 2.5, and this one's 2, something like that. This one to me always looks better. It's tighter, it's cleaner. I just enjoy using it more. I like the way the stitches look. More so, it does take more time, but it's a tighter stitch. If you were using larger thread, then one of these two would be fine. But again, even with the larger threads, I still like, at least for most of the threading that I do, the stitching that I do, I'm using a smaller thread anyway. You'd have to be using like rawhide or gut. Yeah, so there's that. And you can change that out fairly easily. It's just, I think the ones that I've since lost it, but it's just a little flathead screwdriver, which if I can get it out of there. There we go. 10% rule. Got to be 10% smarter than what you're dealing with. And yeah, anyway, this I might have to have another one to hold that side. Yeah, I got it on there real tight. Anyway, so this is just a bolt, essentially. It's flathead on both sides. Loosen that up and it pulls apart, and you can switch your wheel out and put them back together again. Tighten it up. But I tighten it down really hard because I don't switch it out. So there's that. Now, over the leather. All right. So I think I paid more for the wrapping than I did for the leather. This is actually pretty decent leather. They give you a nice little strap that if you get a small enough arm, you can make it a bracelet right away. There's your first project done. Congratulations. Okay, so yeah, leather. Yeah, this is fairly good leather. If you get any scratches in it, just like that one right there that I put in with my ring, just like that, it rubs right off of there if you rub it a little bit. And same thing with this. Then there's a conditioner you can put on it afterward, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So I've got a few projects that I've thought of, and we'll just do one at a time. The first one is going to be fairly short and simple. And yeah, and I will probably just start another video for it. But yeah, anyway, so right now there's what we got. The leather, scissors, I've explained these before on some of my other videos. Anyway, these are Fiskars, they're razor edge. They do a great job for how much they cost. Yeah, and I've used these for a long time. They're designed for cloth, but they work really well for thinner leathers, and this is thin enough. And then of course this here is for cutting nice straight lines. It works out really good when used with your ruler that I also listed as something to purchase. These are invaluable. I mean, I use this all the time. So you can see your piece through it and line up your lines, line up your cuts, and then just cut around it, or cut two sides and then move it and cut another side. And of course this one has angles on it. Another reason I like this one is that it is printed on the bottom. Now that means it'll wear off faster, but it's right on whatever you're working on. Whereas like this one here, this is my older one that I've kind of worn out. The printing is on the top. So in order to read the numbers correctly, the printing is on this side. So, and from an angle, so like right here, you can probably see it, but the leather is actually lined up on this side of the line. Where I see it, or from my vantage point, it looks like it's lined right up, and it's offset. So, but if I turn it over, I can line it up just right. So again, another reason why I like this one. So thank you for the chance to buy new stuff and try new things. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up now that we've gone through this, and then I'll start another one with our first project.